This might be a little jar of death. It also might be asparagus or green beans, and I'll tell you its story in a few minutes. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. I have been doing a little bit of stitching and trying to figure out how to coordinate Flosstube updates with the calendar, and so you're getting an update tonight. Last time I showed you my stitching, I was playing thread chicken on Edna Viola's salt box. I had way more red thread than I needed to squeak by. And I started filling in the windows and finished the other star, and then I set it down because I told you I wanted to get started on memory lane again. And I got started on memory lane, and to an extent, I could not stop. This is the loudest cross stitch project I have ever worked on. I'm using the needle that came with the kit. It is 3 strands of floss on something that is not muslin, but muslin is the closest I can come to describe it, and every time the needle goes through, it pops loudly. It's a different stitching experience, and I moved it onto a wider set of Q-snaps because I was trying to do the windows because they have little bits of each color, and I think maybe because I haven't used this Q-snap as much, it's gripping it more tightly. It's an odd shape to hold, but now that I have accepted the fact that my little X's are not going to be perfectly consistent, I'm having a whole lot of fun with it. And I want to keep going, and I think I'm going to finish this. Probably not soon, but that's okay because I am not racing the clock on any of my projects right now. There's some Halloween stuff I'd like to get done, but the way the life is going, I don't know if I see that happening or not. I have a new project I am dying to start. I have fabric, I have floss. I bought the pattern from Etsy, but I'm going to have to go to my daughter's house to print it. It is Small Library by Stitch and Jewels, and I know that that is not showing up good holding my spare phone up to the screen. It is all one color, and it is a bookshelf with an arch and other arches beyond it. I just love it. My husband and I met in a bookstore 30 some years ago. And I mean, there's that, there's loving books, there's loving the idea of a monochromatic cross stitch. I can think of all the reasons I want to stitch this. And I want to get it together and get my fabric gridded so I can work on it for our coast trip. Last time I told you I was going to rip out that shawl. I took the shawl off the needles. I started another shawl. It was having the exact same drape problems, except I caught it really quickly. So I was going to start stitching dishcloths because those are the ultimate nothing matters project. Except I haven't cast on yet, and I grabbed up one of the Lion brand Sock Ease socks. And I've just been doing a little bit on it because it's something I can use to keep my hands moving while I'm waiting for other things to happen. I am going to find a better set of needles for those shawls. I am going to cast on the dishcloths. And for the moment, I'm going to work on the socks. Many weeks ago, I think we might have still been driving our car at that point, my husband and I stopped at an estate sale, and it was one of those that is being run by the family and is a little off. I think some distant relatives were selling things they didn't know what they had. It was interesting, overpriced, weird, but they had a ton of milk glass. I found the little Hobnail milk glass shoe for $2. It wasn't priced. I was carrying it around because I was going to ask him the price. And my husband was telling me that this didn't look like anything special. He didn't know why I wanted it. Because obviously he hasn't been paying attention at the other couple of estate sales where I was next to him and scored sparkly Fenton glass shoes. But this one is milk glass, and it's Hobnail. And it has a cat. I got it for $2. No, I don't know where I'm going to put it. No, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I need it because milk glass makes me feel connected to my grandma, and I like Hobnail milk glass in particular, and it was only $2. And then I went online and they sell for a lot more than that, but they make them with lids. So if I find another one cheap at an estate sale and it has a lid, that might have to happen too. Then I fulfilled a childhood dream. I am drawn to the reproduction colonial stuff that was so popular during the bicentennial because that was my early childhood. And I bring to you the world's cheapest reproduction bed warmer. I don't know why I am enchanted by bed warmers. I think I watched a lot of made-for-TV horror movies in the 70s that happened to have this kind of thing, and I have always wanted one. This one is meant to be a planter, and the back of the handle is flat, and yes, it is the cheapest reproduction bed warmer in the history of ever, but it was also $1.49. I have a big fireplace. I'm going to hang this by the fireplace. I'm not going to put plants in it, so it can look a little bit like a bed warmer. And if someday I am fortunate enough to stumble across the real thing, I can always upgrade. But the fact that I got my bed warmer and my shoe, and they cost me only slightly more than home decor at the Dollar Tree, I'm not going to argue with that. This thing is really flimsy, but once it's on the wall, it should be fine. Apparently there's a pair of them with different images, and people want money for these too on Etsy, which doesn't matter because I'm not reselling mine. And then we have the little bitty jar of death. I don't know what this is. I don't know where this came from. We got a new chest freezer, and one of the boys found this, I think, in the canning closet, and came in and asked me what it was, and there was a moment of, oh God, don't touch that, is it sealed tight? Because botulism is rare. This scares me. So, what's it look like to you? Because I think it looks like green beans. I pickled asparagus years and years ago, and it came out unpleasantly flavored, so we did not eat it. I've never pickled green beans. To the best of my knowledge, Mom and Grandma never pickled green beans or canned green beans. Did it come with the house and we don't know who canned it and it's been in the canning closet 18 plus years? Did I do green beans along with the Brussels sprouts and asparagus 15 years ago and forget about it? I don't know. Nobody's going to open this. Home canning is safe if you do it right, if you know what you're doing and you follow the guidelines. I am sure that nowhere in anybody's idea of safe home canning is, let's taste the scary thing we found out in the garage. This is going away, but I had to put it in the video to give you a little PSA about avoiding potential sources of botulism and being careful when you preserve your foods. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. I am already packing for this year's coast retreat. Fingers tightly crossed that nothing happens to sabotage it. My car's been totaled, but I've got a ride. Cross your fingers for me, and I'll be back with more videos soon.